Why me? And I had the bright idea to do my makeup at the start of a heat wave. But yeah, it was like between 91 and 93 today, which is why I changed into a tank top, because I am also doing this after work, but before dinner. It's 5:47. Tomorrow's supposed to be 99. Ooh, that's actually down from 102 degrees. And then Friday's 98. And then Saturday is 92 and thundering. So, it's fine, everything's fine, but I do have a new palette in, and I want to use that. And I'm also going to try to do a matte base, because even though I have my fan on, I don't want to take the risk of looking gross and sweaty and greasy. So, let's get into it. So first, since I do have a pastel palette I'm going to be going in with, this is from NYX Professional Makeup. This is the Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this onto my lid, just to make it a little paler and to make the colors be able to pop a little more, because even though I'm very pale, we always like to make it more, you know? So just gonna blend that out with my finger. I'm gonna keep most of it focused on like the actual lid portion and not blend it up into like the eyebrow area. I have a little piece of black schmutz, but it's okay. I do also have some concealer down already, because I did fix my brows after doing them like I always do. So that's why I also don't want to bring it up too high, just so things don't overlap too much and create any odd textures or shades. So it just sucks, because you know everything's hot, and even though I have my fan on, it's still hot because heat rises, and you can only get so cold in a house really. So all of my products are gonna start to melt and be gross, but can't really do anything about that now, can I? But no, this bad boy, brand new. This is from Bella Beaute Bar. Yeah, this is the Pastel Garden Trust Pigment Palette. I ordered this a few weeks ago when I got restocked. I've had it in my possession for maybe a week. I haven't had time to do my makeup. So, ooh, this is not white, I promise. There we go. So this is her, again, pastels of all shades. I know I love their matte formula, and I love their shimmers. They're so gorgeous. So, I honestly don't know what I want to do. Maybe something more minty, just because there is a lot of these tones. Yeah. I lied. We're gonna do orange and yellow. So, I am taking the shade Coral Belle. Just kind of, not digging in, but because it's a more pastel shade, I want to get a little more pigment on the brush than I usually would. And then I will do a little bit of that. That's definitely looking bright and a little pastel-y. So, wild concept, who would have guessed? But no, it is Wednesday, July 1st. I did get my nails done on Sunday, but ended up having to go in and do inventory, which, fun fact, needs to be submitted at midnight Sunday into Monday. So I'm gonna have to teach closing people to A, do inventory, B, trust them to actually get inventory submitted to me on time. So this is fun, fantastic, not so fun, not so fresh. Because I got scolded about that. I'm like, okay, fantastic. Again, you haven't taught me anything. I don't have access to this stuff on my phone, so they can't, you know, text it to me. And all that fun jazz. So I'm like, what do you want to happen here? Like, let's be realistic about this, because, girl. And then, large fluffy brush, I'm taking some of the shade Ballerina Tulip. I'm just going to use that, to blend out. Layer and blend out a little. Just do a little, not tone it down a little, but that first shade is a little too neon. But either way, gonna do a little bit of that. There we go, looking a little better, just a little, a petite bit. And then I'm gonna take the shade Bleeding Heart, which is this nice little pastel pink. It's a little violet looking, but we're gonna kind of blend this up into here, question mark. I don't know. I'm just gonna layer it a little bit so there's a little bit of definition. I don't know. I don't know what I want from this. Realistically, I just want to look because I might be able to get done one on Sunday. Hopefully, theoretically. I was gonna get one. Not only was I gonna get one done after my nails, you know, but got back later because I had to do inventory, and then I was begging my shift lead to close on 4th of July. She is, but I have to stay until 10. We decided to go back up to Swampscott because my father's like, oh my god, there's a strawberry festival and blah 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 blah. Yeah, it was basically just like a little community festival thing. So we left and we just got dinner from Whole Foods, I think it was. And then fluffy brush, I'm taking the shade Azalea, and then I'm gonna use that to kind of blend out the edges of the pink and then just go down a little more too. So it was just kind of not great. So I wasted my time because I was like, I don't really want to go. And then I got guilt tripped into going, and then look what happened. And I might be able to get one done Friday when I get back because I'm training a shift lead. Girl, I know she's new. She is so airheaded and just not even airheaded. She gets distracted so easily and then doesn't listen to me when I'm telling her something. Like, I had to tell her like 3 times, like, hey, the timer's going off. Go get the oven. Like, 5 repetitive times in the same breath while, you know, the oven timer was going off. So it was a big, noticeable noise. I just have to repeat myself a lot with her. But she opened with me Monday, Tuesday, and then she left early. I'm going to come in. She's going to be in at regular opening time, well, like 9:30 on Friday. I'm going to be in at 10:30, a little before we open, and then I'll leave at like 2:30. So hopefully I can get my makeup done then. And then I'm going back in with some of Bleeding Heart. But I was saying that to her, I'm like, you know, like, I want you to be able to get this done as soon as possible. That way I can trust you by yourself for Sunday. So I can have, you know, a day off because, fun fact, in Massachusetts, if you work 6 consecutive days, you need a consecutive 24 hours away from your job, not clocked in. My last day off was the 22nd, I think, whatever the Monday after Father's Day was. My next day off, real day off would be Sunday, July 5th. Okay, this isn't awful. I don't hate it, actually. I'm not going to put any glitter glue down, though, which might be a mistake. But I'm going to take some of the shade Japanese Rose, which may not be a good idea because I don't like doing this with my fingers. But I'm going to put some right there. And then, Model Concept, right there. Tap it in a little more. This is a very yellow-based shimmer. And I don't know what I think is going on here, but... And then we're gonna go in with the shade Astrantia? It looks like Pink Reflex, that way I can do that in the... Ooh! Definitely a little more pinky violet than I expected, but... And I feel not... The words I was about to say are not gonna come out right. This just isn't... I'm not going to be able to get enough depth and definition from this palette just because they're pastels. So I'm going to go back in with some of Coral Belle, see if I can deepen up or reinforce some of that original deeper orange. And just a little bit of that. I mean, I look very pastel-y, I look very summer-y. So there's that at least. That is what I wanted. And then again with some of Bleeding Heart. Just to get some of that pink back in so it ties in with that pink. Reflect. And then again with a little bit of Ballerina Tulip. I don't know what's going on here, but something's happening. Alrighty, so I need to go find some lashes after this, whatever this is. I need to go find some lashes, but I will be back in a second. Alright, I'm back with lashes, minimal Dillion, minimal Dalian, because I don't have time to afford it. But we move on. I'm gonna do not a super hydrated base, but I just need to not be dry and crusty. Glow, these are the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dew Drops. I'm doing a little bit, just enough to get as a light, because I don't have many like matte primers anyways, and I'd rather go in with matte foundations and concealers than actually with mattifying skin products, if that makes any sense. The mirror on this sucks. I'm probably gonna need to glue it into place sooner rather than later, because hear that? It was like that when I got it. And I love my chopper runes, so I'll say I want to keep using this. Or maybe just find a better mirror. But all the ones I was looking at had like the ridged back, and I need a smooth back. And then just a little bit of the Kulfi Double Life Serum Primer. Just a little, again, just so I don't get so dry and things look gross and they settle into places where I don't want them entirely settled. So again, that's just, this is more of a protective layer than it's like a protective prep layer. That makes no sense, but like, I'm gonna give this a good shake, but this is from Maybelline. This is the, what's this even called? The Super Stay Lumi Matte Foundation in the shade 96. I'm gonna go 1.5, because this is not my shade. So we're gonna go in with a little bit of the color correction drops, especially because like all of my skin is exposed today. So if I don't do a good color match, it's gonna look really embarrassing, more so than usual. So mix this into with my finger, because like I said last time, just so it doesn't get, the green doesn't get absorbed by a brush, and then that way it doesn't get evenly distributed, you know? So we're gonna do, again, not a lot. I want to do this in slightly less than I would usually do, again, just so I need to be matte so I'm not greasy, but I don't. So we're gonna, but yeah, no, the new Shift Lead cheese, I'm really worried about leaving her alone, actually. Just she keeps making silly mistakes with like the register and the money. But I did tell her, I'm like, if you need anything, text me, call me. I'll obviously, I'm not gonna come back in once I leave, but I will, you know, help with anything. Yada yada yada. And I couldn't even have her at least like unlock the door and start on her own yesterday, because I was in at 7:30. And the construction guys were in and out all morning, so I had to leave the door unlocked, so I couldn't like leave it, you know, I couldn't leave it locked and have her, you know, at least practice with the lockbox. But she also has my safe code, because the old manager deleted my assistant DMs, and I don't have the kind of permissions to create new codes for other people, so she's just gonna have to use mine for a while. And like I said, I really am worried about leaving her alone to open, but I can't keep asking other people to cover shifts, and I can't, you know, have my assistant DM hire somebody new, blah 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 blah, and then I have to train them again, and this whole issue starts all over again. And then this is from Patrick Todd. This is the Major Skin Soft Blur Brightening Concealer in Fair Neutral 2. I'm just going to take a little bit onto the back of my hand. There we go. Why'd you fall? But I also started training my baker last week. I like her. She picked up very, very quickly. The only issue is that she is leaving in September to go back to school. She's like, yeah, I planned in like, you know, April, May, when he was still with us. So, but at least my assistant district knows that, and hopefully by then I'll have access to the system and I can do my own interviews. Because, gonna be honest, I would not have hired my shift lead based on vibes alone. And that's what my shift lead was saying. She's like, I feel like you are a very good judgment of character. I'm like, thank you. Unfortunately, I am. So, hopefully I'll have access to things and I'll be allowed to hire people and like do my own interviews. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Because I would want that started, honestly, probably the first week of August, because it takes forever to onboard them. Because I have a baker with all that paperwork stuff now, and he's been hired a week after the other two. So, it's also a guy. I'm not thrilled about that in my life. I don't want like catty, misogynistic, bitchy gay guy, but I don't want a straight dude either. So, alas. This is from Rare Beauty. This is the Soft Pinch Liquid Contour in the shade Gentle. Contours are stretched. I say this every time. Just gonna put some onto the back of my hand. Wow, it's been a theme. Just gonna go in with a little. Also, Reddit needs to stop convincing. I said whatever. I'm like, I really hate, you know, becoming deep into a Broadway fan, because you know when in March saw a bunch of shows. Now I'm doing a semi-impulse trip on July. That impulse, less than 3 months planned. And someone's like, oh my god, you're not going for like late fall to see all these shows? I'm like I really did want to see I did want to see Much Ado and then Inter Alia, I think it's called. The new Rosamund Pike one. I love Rosamund Pike. I'm like, this is overheating. Give me a second. Alright. I let that cool down a little. I just finished the contour. This is from Glisten Cosmetics. This is the Bloomin' Blush in Orange You Glad. Just gonna do a little, kinda like right there. Right there. But someone's like, oh, aren't you gonna go see, you know, these shows in late November? I'm like, I'm like, I don't do as long as a trip as this one, or my March one. I don't have a March trip booked, but, you know, Evita, Warriors, Sound of Music, they're like, well, you know, Galileo. I'm like, do you really want me to go watch a musical about Galileo? But I'm like, if I do, you know, it's not gonna be as many shows, but I can still see a few, and but the thing is, they're mostly plays. I'm like, And then this is from Huda Beauty. This is the blush filter in the shade Bubblegum. So I'm like, realistically, I really shouldn't. Like, there's no world in which I justify doing July, March, July, November, then March again. I'm like, there's no possibility of it. But I'm like, I did want to see the Rosamund Pike one. I'm like, someone's like, oh, A Few Good Men. I'm like, or No Good Men. Whatever the Tom Cruise movie is, that's going to be at the Lincoln Center as well. And someone's like, oh, In the Heights. I'm like, girl, the cheapest tickets that are still available right now also would be for I think the last show of the night would be last show of that their closing night is the time frame I was looking at, because the other two shows start a little later, like in, well, I like that. Ooh, girl, I was gonna do powder blush. I don't think I need to. Might do a little, but I'm like, and then they're like, oh, Wanted. I'm like, don't tempt me. This is from Nabla Cosmetics. This is the Close-Up Blur and Powder Blush in the shade Petite. Just a little. So just do a little. Yeah. It's funny because I don't think I'm the demographic for orange blush. And that's perfectly fine and good. But like, when I do it like this, I really, really like it. And then this is from Haus Labs. This is the Color Fuse blush in the shade Pomelo Peach. I do want to start looking into like a few more like orange peach blushes because I realized I don't have that many. So we're just gonna do a little light layer. Like I don't want to take entirely away from the orange, but I look like a flower. I look like a little fairy. I mean, yes, but no. And then this is from Kaleidos. This is the Space Age highlighter in the shade Star Surfer. Surprise, surprise. I know, look at me with the pink highlighter. But, ooh, sorry. Pressure. Like, well, I'm like, they still have the cheaper business class tickets for the ride home. I don't care so much about business class tickets on the way in. Like, wow. I'm like, Jesus Christ, again? It's fine because I'm almost done with the highlighter and I just need to go do my lips. Alright, onto the lips, and hopefully my battery won't overheat by then. This is from... shit. Ball. This is from Maybelline New York. This is the Lifter Liner Lip Liner in the shade Upstate. This is fairly new. I have not used it. Ooh, look, that's such like a nice neutral. Like, it's slightly cool neutral, but like, it's still... sorry. It's still a lot more neutral leaning than a lot of the lip liners I own, which is concerning, because nothing's ever really neutral. I'm just gonna, even though this dries down very quickly, gonna do what I can for this. Just do a little. And then this is from Half Magic. This is the Magic Drip Glitter Lip Gloss in the shade Y2K Charm. You got it. I know. Who could have foreseen this? Me? Using something with pink glittery and ended with this? You could have placed a bet on it and won. I need to figure out what I'm doing for dinner because it's 6:40. So, it's fine. Everything's freaking fine. But this way I can also get the clips imported while I shower. And I have something to do tomorrow because tomorrow's going to be the heat wave, and it was dead today. So if I have any customers tomorrow, hopefully it will only be ice cream and not actual people. And hopefully everyone will be like, wow, it's hot as balls outside. I'm not going outside if I don't need to. That's my hopes and dreams for tomorrow. But I need to go fix my bangs. It's like day 2 of wash day. I need to wash them tonight. So, they've also been under a bandana all day. But I need to go fix my bangs, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, and this is the finished look. I need to deal with my bangs because this side is somehow longer than the other again. But I like how it came out. I think it's very cute, very pastel, very like warm weather vibes. Like I said, I had no idea what I was really going to do going into this. I just knew that I wanted to use the new palette because I've had it in my possession for a while. I also have my Lucky Scent order downstairs, so tea. It's funny, I was like, oh, if it's home when I get home, I'll do like a little, you know, review in my Lucky Scent order because I just got a bunch of samples. It got delivered in the midst of this, so that wasn't happening. But yeah, like I said, I love Bella Beaute bar mattes and shimmers. What I don't love is the price, but it's well worth it. But I can only buy like one palette at a time because money. But once this one came back in stock, I was like, I need her in my life because I don't have enough good pastels. And these are like beautiful, perfect, and like some of those blue and like periwinkle tones are like calling my name. I also need to think about what I'm going to be doing for my birthday look.